Hi, chemistry students. I wanted to go ahead and to record the details from the slides on learning dimensional analysis. And I put in a paper where it's linked to a note sheet that you could record the notes. So if you want to print this out, you can print this out. If you want to just follow me explaining certain facts, I'm going to handwrite these examples with my document camera later, these examples here, and then this main problem. I could show you on my slides, but later on afterwards, I really want to emphasize how I'm setting up a 3-step problem, okay? But this copy, you can print it out, or you could just handwrite what I'm going over on your own paper, okay? Then after going through these notes, these rules, and then a couple examples at the bottom, I then want to move on to going into the homework and go through a little bit more examples. Inside your folder in Schoology, I've already covered number 4, and that video is loaded. Let me try to get to number 4 here. Actually, hold on. You're going to get to number 4 here, and then I also go through number 10. But I really want to give you some basis to how we're actually doing these conversions. Okay, so that's my plan. So let's actually look at the filling in the blanks on the worksheet, and you can write this down on your own paper. Okay, so what's going on, if I can enlarge here, is that this whole topic is called dimensional analysis. In the page, I will load in the chapter 2 pages from the book. There's only a few pages, a few set of examples, but it is available for you to read. But I will set that up in the folder as another resource. But let's continue here. Basically, what you're doing is you're converting between units, but you're using what are called conversion factors. When we did the metric conversions, all you had to do was to move the decimal point one way or the other, because all the metrics is based on the power of 10. But when you do these types of conversions, these are not simple metric. Now, a few times we could do a metric conversion, which we're going to do on this first example, but a lot of times it's between the English unit and the metric unit, or between liquid type of, there's a lot of different ways we can measure liquid, and we could do fluid ounces or milliliters, and usually it's between the English and a metric unit. So you can't just move the decimal point. Okay, so what we're going to set up are actual fractions of each equality, of each quantity that's equal. So equal things like so many inches in a foot, so many feet in a mile, so many fluid ounces in a liter. Whatever the converting values are, they're actually going to be put together as a fraction, because you actually see these fractions set up on the example. Okay, so as I get to this example with the slides and then try to explain it on my actual worksheet with my document camera, I'm hoping after a couple examples, you'll begin to understand what we're setting up. But it's a fraction, and you're going to use them in a way, as a way to convert between English and metric. Each of these quantities are equalities. They're equal, that the top and bottom values are equal. And you just set them up as fractions, and you use that as a way to convert. Okay. Now, when you go into this example, let me show you on the slides here. We're going to go into a couple different, like one example with my dog, and then we'll go into actually setting up this. I know this setup might be a little too fast, but let me go ahead and show you that we can apply it to an everyday thing. This is our dog, Chester. He's been in my family for over 13 years. Pretty much the whole time I've taught at Central. Chester's been our family dog, but this summer though, he passed away. He was just so having a hard time with walking and getting in and out of the house. He was in a lot of pain. So we had to, he passed away this summer. So if you're looking at him from head to toe, from nose to tail, he's actually 36 inches. Well, how long is he in feet? Well, I'm sure with your background, you know that there's 12 inches into a foot. So when you do that, you can figure out with 12 into 36, you're going to get 3 feet. Now that a lot of units, it'd be easy to convert just from your background, from your experience. But when we do this for chemical reactions, it can be a little difficult. So let's do a 3-step conversion just to kind of show you how it's all set up. And we're trying to go from kilometers, and we're going to go all the way to feet when we get to the very end. So what we're going to do here, and my little slide steps kind of messed up, but what we're doing is we're going to get rid of our kilometers. So for every kilometer, and every time you have a starting number, you want to put the number 1 underneath if you want, just to know that this is a fraction and the starting number is always over 1. So you're going to go from kilometers to centimeters. So then you're going to put the kilometer on the bottom because you're going to cancel them out like they're X's. Okay. And that way, whatever the kilometer equals in centimeters, we're going to put that number on the top. We know that there's 100,000 centimeters in a kilometer. And the reason why we set it up this way is that it mathematically tells you how to do the converting, and because the units cancel out. They're like X's, okay? Like X's on an algebra problem, and you're trying to simplify it down, okay? So basically, we're going to take 5 times 100,000 as our first step. Now we're going to take it from centimeters to inches, and that equality is on the top of our notes. I'll go back to that here in a minute. I just want to stick to the same item here with the slides, but we're going to go from centimeters to inches, and on your paper, it says there's 2.54 centimeters to an inch. So because we're going to get rid of centimeters, we're going to put the centimeters on the bottom. These units cancel out. Forgot to mention that too. But then when you do the next step, you're going to put centimeters on the bottom. And I think it's going right here. And so we're going to do centimeters on the bottom. And that is because centimeters on top, you're going to put the centimeter on the bottom. And there's 2.54 centimeters equaling, again, each of these is a fraction. This is a fraction, the top and bottom equal. And then we're going to do what equals 2.54 centimeters. That's going to be an inch. So the top and bottom are the 2 units that equal each other. And you're going to put the unit that you're trying to get rid of on the bottom. So since you have the centimeters on top, we're going to put the centimeters on the bottom, and they cancel out. So the first step is to times by 100,000 times the 5. And then since the 2.54 is on the bottom, then you're going to take that multiplication answer and divide it by 2.54. Now you got your answer in inches, but we want to go to feet. So we're going to take inches to feet, and we want to get rid of inches. So we're going to put the 12 inches equaling what? That equals a foot, and the foot goes on top. So again, this is a fraction of 2 things that equal each other. Here's another fraction with 2 things that equal each other. And then we have a third one where the top and bottom equal. But we want to take the unit of the equality that you start with. You're going to put it on the bottom, leaving what it equals on the top. And then you're going to do the next one where the unit you're trying to get rid of is on the bottom, and you put the inch on top. And then you do the third one with inches on the bottom because that cancels out inches. And then it's going to give you the last unit that doesn't cancel out. That tells you everything math-wise here is how you're going to solve it for feet. So math-wise, you're going to multiply going across. And then when you go down to 2.54, you divide by 2.54. And since 12 is on the bottom, you're going to divide that by 12. And when you do all the math, that math leads to an answer of 16,400. Okay. Now this is actually the first problem on the homework. So you can copy this down, try to follow how to do it, use that as an example for your first homework problem. Okay. Now, whenever you do this, kind of see how it's kind of neat. You want to use it so the units cancel out. You want to follow and go across and multiply. Go down, you divide. So let's actually write down these rules. Okay, so you're always going to need a calculator for this part of the unit here. So make sure you use your calculator. You're always going to be canceling out units. Each fraction along the way, You're going to be canceling out the units, okay? You want to try to be neat and label everything with a unit. That would really be very helpful when you do the steps. You're going to be writing the conversion factors as fractions. And these fractions, the top number and the bottom number both have units. The units are going to help you carry the way, whether you divide by the right number or converting number, or you multiply by the converting number. The units is going to guide you on how to do that. Okay, so you're going to set up the fractions so the units will cancel. The top unit will cancel with the bottom unit. Okay, and then when you have, you keep going, canceling out units so that your top of your last fraction is the unit that you're trying to go to. Okay, the top of the last fraction. And then you're going to be multiplying the numbers horizontally. When you go across, you're going to multiply, and then you're going to divide. When the numbers are going up and down, you're going to divide. Okay, so take a minute and write those down on your paper, or write down all these sentences here as notes. Feel free and do that. And then let's do a couple of these examples on the next page, and you actually can see all of them here on the next slide. Okay, now if you're going from quarters to dollars, we know that there's 4 quarters in a dollar. So we're going to put the 60 in the first box. And since we're going to get rid of quarters, we're going to put the 4 quarters on the bottom. And then what does 4 quarters equal? 4 quarters equals $1 that goes on top. And since the quarter is on the top and the quarter here's on the bottom, they cancel. And so all you do math-wise is the 60 divided by the 4, and you probably got $15. That's your answer for that example. Okay, so go ahead and write that down as an example. This part here is the converting factor. The top and the bottom equal. Okay, let's do this with eggs and dozen. Remember that there's 12 eggs equals 1 dozen. So since we have eggs here, we want to get rid of eggs. So we're going to put the 12 eggs right here. What does 12 eggs equal? It equals a dozen. And then you'll notice that the egg on top and the eggs on the bottom, they cancel out. So that means you take the top number divided by the bottom number, because the number's on the bottom. When they're top and bottom, you're going to divide. So 45 divided by 12 gives you a little bit over 3 dozen. Okay. Now, again, some of these are so simple that you probably can think about it and realize, hey, you know, if there's 4 quarters to $1, you just know naturally to divide. Or the same with getting eggs to dozens. And the same could happen with seconds to hours and minutes and seconds. But let's just do one more here. We got 24 seconds. We know that there's 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. But we're going to use the units to decide how to set it up. Do we divide by 60 or multiply by 60? Well, if we start with seconds, we want to put the seconds down below here. So we're going to put the seconds down below because they cancel out. But what does seconds equal? It equals 1 minute. So we put the 1 minute on the top. And since you have the number on top and the number on the bottom, when they're opposite, top and bottom, you're going to divide. And then that gets rid of the seconds here. And then you're going to do the minutes to hours. And then you know that there's 60 minutes in an hour. So since we've got it now into minutes, the 234 divided by 60 gets you into minutes. Then you're going to go into the hours by using 1 hour is 60 minutes. So if we've got minutes right here, we're going to put minutes down below. And then we're going to put the hour on top because the top and bottom equal. Each of these is a fraction of 2 things that equal each other. This is a fraction of 2 things that equal each other. We're going to put it beside the starting number of 234. And since the 60's on the bottom and the 60's on the bottom again, because minutes cancel, then you take the 234, divide it by 60, and then divide by 60 again. You're going to get a fraction, a little decimal of an hour. Okay. So we could go through the minute, the weeks to seconds. Let me just go through this for you because I want to move on to the actual homework. You basically take a week times 7 times 24 times 60, and then you're going to times that by another 60, and you're going to get a whole bunch of seconds. Just like it says in the song, 6,400 see, 604,800 seconds in a day. There's a song that goes with it. I can't really remember it, but I know it's like a 60s or 70s song. But how many seconds are in a week? So, but let me go through here and exit this so we can actually step up and go into the actual homework. And then also I want to go through these examples here. And even on our second video that I put on, I did try to help you understand what a conversion factor is. Let me just reinforce that on our worksheet here. So I'm going to switch to the document camera. Let's see if it switches, or I have to make a new video. We'll see how it goes. Okay. And I believe it just switched. That's good. Let me go ahead and not present anymore. So then it shows the whole screen, I believe, of the document camera. Yep. Now it's kind of sideways. Sorry about that. Let me get it upright here. Okay. So no. It's just this way. Yeah, this way, I believe. Sorry about that. Okay. So the part about what I wanted to do is to go over is to really talk about, and I think I'm going to just handwrite it because it's just better. I think my markers are going to really be smeary. So I'm just going to handwrite this here. Okay. So on the notes is that we have these three conversion factors. We have these three conversion factors. 12 equals a foot. We have 2.54 equals an inch. And we have a centimeter equals 100,000. I'm sorry about moving this here. Okay. And we have 100,000 centimeters equal a kilometer. When you actually see this on the homework, all the equalities are right here at the top. I'm sorry, sideways. Top of the homework. So you can actually pick out the equalities that you need for each one. Okay. And so what we're doing is we're trying to really look at this and understand that these things equal each other. So we could put 1 foot, over 12 inches. Okay. And that would be a conversion factor. That's if we're trying to get rid of inches because it's on the bottom. Maybe there's another problem we have where we got to get rid of feet. So we're going to put the 12 inches on top and the 1 foot on the bottom. See, there's two ways to write a conversion factor, and you can write it either way. Okay, you could do the same for 2.54 an inch. We could put 2.54 on top. We could put the inch on the bottom because we want to get rid of inches. We're going to centimeters, or if we're going to inches, then we're going to divide by the starting number of 2.54. The same also happens with the last conversion factor. You got to decide which one's going to be helpful in order to make the conversion. Okay. And so then we have another conversion factor here. We could put the 1 kilometer on top and the 100,000 centimeters on the bottom. And you really want to try to write these fractions neat, you know, and keep the units there so you can let the units guide you in which way to do it so the units cancel out. Okay. And then this last example, we're just going to flip this and put the 100,000 centimeters on the top and the 1 kilometer on the bottom. See, you could use either this or this. Okay. Or in the next step, you're going to either use this one or this one. And then the third step, you're going to be using this one or this one. Okay. So let's actually do that. And we already did it with the actual slides earlier in the slides, but we actually can put that right here, you know, and use this on our, and this is going to be the same as number 1. It's the same as number 1 on the homework. So when you do number 1 on the homework, it's the same setup. You're going to be doing the same conversions. Okay. So we're going from kilometers, and we're going to go to, we want to take kilometers to centimeters. Then we're going to do centimeters to inches, and we're going to do inches to feet. Okay. And just to reinforce it, you know, since I did it on the slides and I tried to explain it, is that you want to get rid of the kilometer here, and you want to have kilometer on the bottom because you want to get rid of it. So we're going to put the kilometer on the bottom, and we're going to put 100,000 centimeters because that's what they equal. the equality part, you can just basically look at each side, and you're going to put the unit that you're getting rid of on the bottom, and the unit and the number of the unit you're going to on top. And so the kilometers cancel out. And then we're going to do the 100 centimeters, 100,000 centimeters, but we want to put the 2.54 on the bottom because we want to get rid of it. And so you're going to be dividing by 2.54 because that equals an inch. Okay, and then when we want to go from inches to feet, we're going to put the 12 inches on the bottom because we're trying to get rid of it, and then put 1 foot on the top. Okay, and what that does is that the kilometers cancel out like they're a bunch of X's. And I'm sorry, my paper here. Sorry about that. So we have kilometer on top and bottom, and they cancel out. The centimeters are on top and bottom, and they cancel out. And then the inches cancel out, and the only thing left is the foot. If the only unit you have left is what you want in your answer, then you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to take 5 times it by 100,000, get a really big number, take that and divide it by 2.54 on the calculator, and then divide it again by 12, because when you go across, you're going to multiply. Okay, and then when you go down, that means you're going to divide. So you're going to take that answer and then divide it by 2.54 because you're going down, and then you're going to go and divide again because 12 is on the bottom. Then you divide by 12 again, and you're going to see the answer is 16,400 on the calculator. Okay, so let's just do one more example here. Let's run through another one here. Let's simply do number 8 because we've got number 1 done. The other video covers 4 and 10. Let's just do number 8, for instance, because it deals with a different unit. And we've got the gram and the pound. So we got to look down the list and see if we find anything with grams or anything with pounds. And we've got this pounds and kilogram. We've got that. And then we've got, I think I need to, I think what I did is I actually did not put the grams and kilograms, but we can write that down just like we have with any other type conversion, is that there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. Okay, so I believe there's this converting factor. Oh, it's right below it. My bad. It was right below it. It's right here. So those 2 that I marked in blue are what you're going to use. Okay, so you have to look up here and decide. Sometimes it might be 1, sometimes it might be 2 steps, sometimes it might be 3 or 4. Okay, so we have the 5,000. You're going to put that over here on the side. Sorry about my, here we go. My bad, sorry. 500,000 grams. So then we're going to try to go from grams, and we got to get to pounds. So we got to use the one we have, which is the 1,000 grams equals a kilogram. We want to get rid of the grams. So that's going to be on the bottom of your fraction. So you're going to put 1 over 100,000. I'm going to actually not write the units in just because my pen is it's so mushy and I'm running out of space. So I'm going to do 5,000 divided by 1,000 to get 5. And that puts you into kilograms. Then we're going to use the next factor and go to pounds. So we're going to put kilogram on the bottom because we have a kilogram right here on top. And what does a kilogram equal? It equals 2.2 pounds. Okay, so math-wise, you're going to take the 5,000 divided by 1,000, and then you're going to times that by 2.2. And it's essentially saying it's like 5 timesing it by 2.2, and you should be getting a number close to, probably close to, if you do the math, it should be close to 100 pounds, or excuse me, 11 pounds. Okay, so we do the math here, it should round up to 11 pounds. Okay, so try these out, do some more examples. Sorry about my trying to work with the document camera here, but you're going to take the 5,000 divided by 1,000, and then times it by 2.2. And if you notice that your grams cancel here, and then your kilograms cancel here because you're putting them on opposite top and bottom, leaving the unit that you want. Okay, so try a few of them out. Get with me if you need help. I would do at least 3 or 4 more to get real comfortable, okay, on the homework.